That's Allie reading, and I'm here today to talk about what I want to read in May. I have a few that I want to continue reading that I've been reading in April and beyond. Then I have a long list of books that I would love to get to in May, but I don't have high hopes for finishing the list. I've learned that I'm a little bit more of a pile of possibilities girl. I guess let's just hop right into it because I have so many books I want to talk about. I don't want to waste your time. So the first one I want to share is my nonfiction, my Christian nonfiction. I don't read very often at all, but this one I am buddy reading with a friend. Hi, Angie. This is Joyful Surrender by Elizabeth Elliot, and basically each chapter focuses on a different discipline that you should have as a Christian. I had to do a lot of like soul surgery, I guess you could say, like really be honest with myself on, am I truly disciplined in this area? And I think this book is very good, and it's my first of hers, and I really enjoyed it. So we are only like 3 chapters away from finishing, so this will definitely be done in May, and looking forward to that. And then the next one I'm actually buddy reading with the same person and this is Through Each Tomorrow. This is book 6 in the Timeless series by Gabrielle Meyer. I think we're over halfway, and usually we can binge these pretty quick, but for whatever reason this one we are taking slower, and I'm fine with that because I kind of feel like I get a little bit more out of the story. I don't know if it's like based off of like more days of repetition of being brought back into their era or what. In a way, I'm grateful that this is taking longer because it's like you're savoring something that you're enjoying. There's 2 different ways to love a book, right? Like you can binge one and read it in under 24 hours or under 12 hours depending on how much time you have, or you know you love it and you don't want it to end. This one's probably right in the middle. Like I know I love it, but other things kind of got in the way at the same time, so also that one. The next one is a kind of a long-standing buddy read, but hopefully finish in May, is Middlemarch by George Eliot. I'm buddy reading this with Rainey from Rainey Reads and Crafts, and again we're like about 70%, so we're getting there. I would like to say this book, I expected it to be more cozy and like lighthearted, and it is, but there are more hard-hitting life events in here than I was expecting, and I'm here for that, but I wasn't expecting it. So if you have this on your TBR and you want to go read it, just be prepared that it's not all fluffy, lighthearted, you know, like Jane Austen, she tries to avoid some of the heavy stuff. This gives you some of the heavy stuff. It just doesn't like dwell on it, but you still get smacked with it. That's that. I am enjoying it though, even though it's taking forever. No, my next book is taking forever. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. I am buddy reading with the first friend that I'm doing the first 2 books with. And we started reading this together, oh goodness, a long time ago, like over a year ago. We're just having a hard time getting through it. So no pressure, but it'll probably keep popping up in my TBRs up until we're done, but we're about halfway, which is saying something. So I just started buddy reading Spark of the Revolution by Megan Soja on KU, and I'm buddy reading this with Jess from Pages and Grace. I wanted to share a little bit about it because it's so good. It's set just before the Revolutionary War, so it's like leading up to the Boston Tea Party. I wanted to read this because this actually doesn't overshare, and it'll give you a good idea of what it's about. A spark ignites a flame that could burn down everything they hold dear. Contrary to her name, Patience Abbott has long felt unsettled and anxious to leave behind her painful memories in England for a fresh start in America. But her new life isn't quite what she expected, and as tension grows in her new home of Boston, so does the distance between Patience and her estranged father. So when Josiah Wagner walks into her life, it finally feels like she's not alone. If only his patriotic leanings didn't put him at odds with her father's loyalties. Josiah Wagner has spent his life yearning for a true home and family, something he works toward every day, forging tools as a blacksmith and each night forging plans with the Sons of Liberty. But when the destruction of tea in Boston Harbor lights the spark of the revolution, Josiah finds himself drawn into its tumultuous wake, pulling the woman he loves along with him. As tensions mount, will their search for belonging lead to each other, or will the obstacles between them be too great to overcome? In a land on the brink of war, can they find the home they seek in the one who calls them his own? Like, you guys, I think me and Jess are about 30% done. And like, from the first page, we were both like, oh, I'm gonna like this. And like now, every chapter is just like, whoa, this is so good. There's so much goodness in this book. There's just like each character just leaps off the page and comes to life. Okay, and then I will start in on new books that I haven't started yet. The first one I want to talk about is Short Straw Bride. This is by Karen Whittemire, and Lucy wanted to see if I wanted to buddy read it with her because I've never read a Karen Whittemire, and she loves her. And this book is like highly rated and highly praised, and I was just like, yes, I'm there. I want to read it. I want to see what the hype is all about. The next book I want to read is called The Huntress. It's by Carrie Cotton. It's on Kindle Unlimited. It's a Christian medieval fiction, but I think it also has like a fantasy element, but not too much, like not much magic, I guess, is done. It just sounded really good. It just like popped up on my like recommendations, and then like other people have read it now, the series, and my interest is piqued. Tempest and Tea Leaves by Rachel Morgan. It's like a cozy fantasy, clean but not Christian. So basically the little top blurb of it says, Bridgerton meets cozy fae fantasy with a dash of Pride and Prejudice in this sparkling, no-spice tale of magical debuts, an enchanted tea house, and banter-filled romance. Yes, like you had me at Pride and Prejudice and a tea house. Like, wow. Okay, that will be fun if I can get to it. Hopefully I can. I know I'm like I'm setting myself up almost for disaster right now, but we'll see. The next one is Tea with Elephants by Robin Jones Gunn. I think it's called the first book in Suitcase Sisters. Yes, Suitcase Sisters. And I had this on my radar when it released, I think in 2024, 2023, something like that. But I never got around to it. And like, it seems to be making the rounds again now. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't read that and I really want to. So I put it on my list and it looks fun. It's basically a story of two friends that go on vacation to Africa, and they, you know, of course, bond and all that. You get on adventures with them and everything. I'm excited to start that, so hopefully I can get into that at some point in May. And then the next one I want to read, which will be done because I'm craving it right now, is Emma M. Lyon, book 5, The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon by Beth Brower. And I'm right in that moment of just like being addicted. So again, I know I will run out of books faster than the author can write them, and so I'm trying to slow myself down just a little bit, but I'm still gonna end up with the rest of you waiting for the next release. I know I am. Then the next book I want to share, Petsy and the Declaration by Elizabeth Massey, is I think you could call it middle grade. Yeah, it's middle grade. But it's also a Revolutionary War thing, so it must be my era I like to read about. But this book is special because I read this as a kid and I totally forgot what it was called, but I loved it. So for the last 30 years, I kept trying to get my mom to remember for me because I remember getting it out of the library and just like raving about it when I was done. I remember this cover. It was stuck in my head, but I couldn't remember the title. So basically, this is what I was picturing in my mind. And I could never get the title to come out in my head. And I was just like, this has been nagging at me for decades, you guys. And one night, randomly, like 2 weeks ago, I was in bed and I was looking over Goodreads, and somebody read made me click with what this was called. And I was like, it's something in the Declaration. And then I was like, it's Patsy. So I don't know, have you guys ever had this happen? I feel like this is the first time ever for me. I quickly, within 5 minutes of remembering it, I went to Thrift Books, and sure enough, there was a copy there. So I picked it up and it just came, and I can't wait to read it. So I'm going to read the back for you. It's Philadelphia, June 1776. America is about to be born. Patsy Black and her new best friend, Barbara Layman, know they've got to help the colonies gain their freedom, but what can two girls do? Plenty. When the blacksmith shop goes up in a roaring blaze, Patsy and Barbara find out that someone set fire on purpose. But who? Maybe it was the red-haired stranger who just rode into town. He could even be a spy for the British. There's one way to find out. Search his room above the Black Family Tavern. But are the girls brave enough to do it? And what happens if they get caught? I can't wait. I just can't wait. Then the next one is Love Comes Softly. This is book 1 in the Love Comes Softly series by Jeanette Oakey. I always grew up calling her Janet Oak, and I think that was completely wrong. I keep hearing it different. So I think it's Jeanette Oakey. But this is a copy of a set that I got for my birthday last year, a year or two ago. I don't know. I've only read book 1, and I was also a kid when I read it. So I'm going to try to get through the entire series this time. And I don't feel like I have to share too much about this. It just, the front says, a tragic accident, a grief-stricken young widow, a lonely father and child, a tender story of two hearts broken by despair, finding wholeness through patience, loyalty, and faith in God. So that's what I have to say about that. I've watched the movies. I remember a couple funny parts and a lot of sad parts, but I'm ready to dive into that series and just like get it done. Then I want to read, this is book 2 in the Keeper of the Lost Cities series by Shannon Messenger. I absolutely adored book 1, and I can vouch for this being just as good. My one friend that I read everything with, she has read the whole series up to date. I don't know if it's complete yet, but she keeps saying they get better and better, and I'm like, how do you get better from 5 stars? Like, I'm in trouble. I can't wait to start it, and I think one of the reasons I've held off on starting it since I finished book 1 is just because I know I can't read these for the first time ever again. So I'm just like really trying hard to like read them when I'm completely in the moment and ready for them. I can't really share much about it. You might want to look up the book 1 synopsis, but it's basically about a young girl who is taken out of our world. I think it's our world. Now I'm not sure, but she always was treated differently and had felt like she had a problem that was unfixable. But she finds out she's actually more in the area of lost cities, which is like another world. And so she has powers, and the powers present themselves in a troublesome way when she's in our world, but it's a very cool thing in hers. So a lot of changes and turmoil, especially for a girl her age, to go through, and she just really wants family and she wants to be loved. And so book 2 of that journey, and it just pulls on your heartstrings. You laugh, you cry, it moves you, Bob. If you get that, then I'll know where you came from. The next one that I want to read is The Letter Tree by Rachel Fordham. This has been around BookTube a lot, and I bought this last year, and I had the intention to read it when I came down here in Florida, and I never did, and now I'm going back to Ohio, and I'm like, why did you pack it up if you're not reading it? But anyway, so it went on my list, and hopefully I will get to it. But it's set in 1924, and I'll just read the first top blurb. Mere words can't end their family's feud, but the Campbell heir and the Bradshaw heiress plan to write a future together. And I guess they like exchange letters. So that's all I want to know. I don't really want to read into it any farther. I want to be surprised. So that's that. I have 3 more to share. I want to listen to Project Hail Mary. I have a credit for Audible, and I think I'll use it for that, by Andy Weir. And I feel like I don't know anything about it. I'm going in blind. I've just heard it's very sciencey, but then it gets like really, really good. So I'm just going with that. That's my knowledge. And then the next one is a KU series, and I think it's called Peacock Hill Romance series. I will be reading book 2, so I'm not sure how much I want to share with you guys. You tell me how that all works. But it's by Elizabeth Madry, or Madre. I'm not positive on how to say that. But they're just a cozy Christian contemporary rom-com. And I loved book 1, like loved it, but it wasn't quite a 5-star because it was so short, like it's a novella length. And I thought it totally had potential to be more fleshed out if you had more pages, and then I would really be sucked in. But it was a solid book. It was so good. So I can't wait to read book 2. One of the things I loved about book 1 was it was a fixer-upper kind of thing. So it's like HGTV, and I had a Gilmore Girls kind of feel to it. So it was like there's banter, and then this girl was fixing up a giant house, and she's just like putting these really cool architecture touches into it. I love do-it-yourself stuff. I love flipping houses and fixing the insides up, and like picking colors, and just all these different like decor things. It's one of my favorite things to do. So book 2, the top blurb would be 2 landscape architects, 1 garden, and a chance to see if their secret crushes from college have stood the test of time. So that to me sounds like either a second chance romance or a friends to more. But they're very clean, very cute. They're very heartwarming. I don't really know what else to say since I've only read the first book, but I'm excited for that. And then the next one is actually kind of a funny story. I'm in the middle of the Appies hockey series. I think it's just called the Appies, I'm pretty sure. But I have a friend who's like, if you want to do it chronologically, like publication order, you have to jump into another series before finishing the Appies. So I read book 6, and now I'm in the middle of another series because I am a follower that way. So I just finished Eloise and the Grump Next Door, and I'm going into this book, Merritt and Her Childhood Crush, which is the one of the sisters of the first girl. The first book wasn't the best, so hopefully this second one will be better. But they're funny, and I had moments where I was just like, this is amazing, but I also had other moments that brought that down. But anyways, so apparently I have to read this trilogy, and then I can read the 7th book of Appies. So I will be getting to this too. It'll be a great palate cleanser. I love throwing rom-coms in the mix of the more serious, more like takes more mental capacity to follow. So this one, the blurb is, I said I'd never set foot on Oakley Island again, not so long as he lived there. But after my life implodes, I'm reconsidering everything, including my reasons for avoiding the first and only man I've ever loved. The authors are co-authors, Emma St. Clair and Jenny Proctor. I think I like Emma St. Clair a little better than I like Jenny Proctor's writing. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but that's all. That's my entire mountain of possibilities. It's 18 books, you guys. I don't know. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and If any of these books jump out at you and I'm not currently buddy reading it with somebody, hop in and tell me you'd like to buddy read, because I love that. I love having conversations and sharing a book with somebody, like you're like inside the world together. That's one of my favorite things ever. So yeah, let me know. And I am having a blast getting to know so many of you guys in the Christian booktube community. And like, if you have a channel or not, I'm just having fun getting to know everybody, and it's just been the most amazing experience. So thank you for being so welcoming, and I just feel like I found some long lost family members. So I will see you all